بلسان عربي مبين.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah everybody. This is Ether Ahmed, and today inshallah we're talking about rules of Noon and Meem Mushaddad. But before that, let me tell you something about غنة. So in Arabic we have something that we call غنة, which is the nasal sound. Nasal sound comes from the nasal cavity, and only two letters in Arabic language have this nasal sound. These two letters are Noon and Meem. So, Noon and Meem have غنة all the time. But when these two letters have Shaddah on the top of them, this غنة becomes very strong and we give it 2 beats. Now let's apply غنة of 2 beats to Noon and Meem Mushaddad. So if we say and there is something comes from the nasal cavity, what we call غنة or the nasal sound. And this غنة has to be 2 beats. There is a question here. How do I make sure if I'm applying غنة well or not? And for that, there is a very easy exercise. That while pronouncing the letter with غنة, we're gonna close and open the nostril with our fingers. If we find any change in happening while the opening and the closing, it means we're applying غنة well. But if there is not, it means غنة is not applied. Let's check that together. Pay attention. And do you see that changing happening while the opening and the closing? I think you do. Let's try with me. Oh, it means there's something comes from the nasal cavity. Now let's try the same thing but with a letter that has no غنة. For example, letter lam. Lam has no غنة because we said only 2 letters in Arabic have غنة, which are Noon and Meem, and lam is not one of them. So let's try to close and open while pronouncing letter lam. So if we say al, do you hear any change in happening while pronouncing the sound? I don't think so. That means غنة is not applied while pronouncing letter lam. Now it's your turn to try and let me know in the chat box if you're applying غنة well. Now we're going to practice applying غنة on these words, and I'm going to read each one of them for 2 times, and I'll give you 3 seconds to repeat after me. الناسي الناسي الجنة الجنة النفاثات النفاثات إنا Now we're doing the same thing but with letter Meem. Don't forget, I will read the word for 2 times, then I'll give you 3 seconds to repeat after me. Let's start it. حمالة حمالة فأما فأما فأمه فأمه ثم ثم الطامة الطامة الناقور الناقور. Today we talked about غنة, which is the nasal sound that comes from the nasal cavity. And غنة is applied only with two letters in the Arabic language, which are Meem and Noon. And when these two letters have Shaddah, غنة becomes so strong and we give it 2 counts. This is all for today. If you have any question, text me in the chat box. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم.